Welcome to Art Happens. Sometimes you hear a song that absolutely inspires you and makes you wonder, how did that work? And then you dig, and before long you have something like this. Woo. All right. Welcome to the show, Mike. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for having me.
You had an awesome performance, which we're going to share with you in a moment, but I'd love to get into some of what you do and how you do it. Tell.
Well, you know, some people believe that digital music is all pushing buttons and pulling knobs and faders, and I just showed that, you know, there's a little more to it than that when you get into it and you really try to give the audience as much as you can. I mean, who among you out there hasn't seen a YouTube video of a DJ pretending to turn knobs and turn faders, right? So if we take a look to my gear here, I've got two keyboards here. Both of them allow me access to my Ableton Live software. I'm able to play different synth parts. I can choose which synth parts I play. With that, I have all these controllers and things, and that allows me those filter sweeps and things that you hear throughout dance music a lot of the time. And then this device here, it's called a launch pad, and this thing is great in that it allows me to link any one of these buttons on this grid to a sample or a loop, no matter what it is, and I can trigger it, turn it off, bring it back in again. And you see I have my iPad over here, and what I'm using it for, I've got running a vocal synthesizer app which changes my voice. And you know, in this episode of Art Happens, you've seen how I could change my voice from sounding like myself to sounding like somebody completely different. And it's a really good piece of hardware. And the system, the way that it is, it's a very tactile interface. I can actually, in some cases, create live stuff off the floor just by playing.
So you're making live modern music, like a techno kind of music, and you can, instead of being a pre-recording, you can almost look out at the audience, see what they're jiving with, and then generate sounds that takes them to a new height. That's what I'm hearing you describe.
Yeah, generate melodies and harmonies and things that go together, different rhythm parts. I can layer by loop recording and doing some things like that. So it really becomes a lot of fun when all of a sudden you're just like, you get the feeling on the spot and it comes out in the synth or the sound that you're playing or the beat that you create. And that is, you know, one of the beauties of, you know, having a great setup and taking the time to think about how to do it properly.
Well done. Let's hear it. So very cool, and I love the art happens in the middle of that thing. This is so cool.
Very personalized.
Yes, you know. do you do this often? Where do you do this? Like, what's your direction? What's the story?
Recently, just this year, I've been sort of building up my hardware setup so that I can bring my songs to a live forum. I've played twice down at the Fox Hot Doggery, and they call it a rock bar and hot doggery. But I guess because I know the peeps, you know, they kind of let me in, even though I'm not really rock music. And so far, I've tried to get into a few local festivals, but I think maybe my timing was a little late. Right. So I'm gonna sort of attacking towards the end of this year for next year, trying to look into getting into some of the waterfront festivals around Barrie. Anything involving City Hall seems to be a lot of people doing that and getting good exposure in town that way. And I mean, in future, it would be great to, you know, start playing in clubs in the city, headlining festivals in Europe. You know, I mean, that would be the ultimate goal eventually, of course, right?
That is awesome.
But it takes time to get there, and you know, here I am starting, trying to get the exposure.
What got you into this? I remember talking earlier about when you're young. I think there was a song that inspired you. Could you tell us that story? How you got into this field?
It's really funny. As a kid, I had an older brother who was into rock, like Iron Maiden, Metallica, Motley Crue. So I picked up on that, and I tell you, the first tape that I bought of my own, with my own money, was Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood. That was at about 9 or 10 years old, and then I went to about 13 or 14, and then all of a sudden you started hearing things like Technotronic, Pump Up the Jam, and Two Unlimited, Get Ready for This, and Twilight Zone, and that's when I was like, this stuff is awesome. What is this new kind of music? And so at that same time frame, my grandmother had purchased herself a basic keyboard to bring home and play piano with. I, being a young, astute individual, put together that the keyboard she bought had MIDI connections, which is how we connect all of this together, how we make all the hardware talk to each other, and just kind of got into it from there, started playing very basic, rudimentary kind of stuff. Didn't have any lessons, just one finger, and then slowly over time, started playing with two hands, took some lessons, took some seriousness to it, playing, learned the more hardware side of it, and just, you know, went through a couple of bands, realized that being part of a band wasn't really what I was into in the end. Came back to my roots of loving those tribal beats, you know, and, you know, here I am today, finding myself just making more and more songs, probably one every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Being released, you know.
Wow. How do you build it? For those of us that aren't composers, what, do you start with a rhythm and go from there? Do you have a melody? How do you construct?
Sometimes all it takes, not this most recent song, but the last recent song, the one previous to this one, I was playing on my iPad, and the iPad's gotten pretty amazing too as far as production, by the way. But anyways, I was playing on it, and all it took was one synth sound to inspire an entire song. It was like I was just playing, and then I had a certain melody, and I was like, there's a rhythm there, there's something there, and then all of a sudden it just, boom. And that particular track was finished from start to finish in less than 24 hours on the iPad. And so sometimes all it takes is I'm just playing something and I get a nice melody, or sometimes I'll be playing with my beat pads on this one, and I'm creating a wicked little rhythm, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, I record that, and then I go from there. And sometimes you listen back to it in a loop kind of a situation over and over and over again, and you just start to hear things that should be part of the song. It's like you just feel, you just know how it's supposed to go. You know, it's a feeling. In the end, it's just a feeling.
Sometimes art happens.
But sometimes art happens. You put it right.
You're in Barrie?
In Barrie.
Okay. And where you're playing out hopefully at clubs that we're going to find soon enough. If we wanted to get a hold of you to book you at a party or a jam, how do we do so?
Well, just find me up on Facebook. My stage name is Neu Lab, Neulab. Facebook page, contact me, hit me up, see whatever events are going on. You know, contact me that way.
All right. Do you plan to cut a CD? Are you going to do the Dead Mouth thing?
Yeah, I do have enough songs that I'm thinking about actually putting some artwork together for an EP and making a real go of it, you know, having an EP release party and everything else, which I will inform you guys about, and hopefully we can get some, you know, exposure on that way and keep it in the family, so to speak.
That is so exciting. That is so exciting, right from Barrie, Ontario. And I got to connect you with one of the teachers at my school because he's actually working with clubs down south. He's actually a house club artist. So I just got to put that as an aside. It's great to see you going into this world. It's an awesome, awesome world you're heading into.
Yeah.
Good, clean, fun music, man.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Isn't there anything else you want to share with our audience before we got to go?
I think that's about it for me. You know, we've covered a lot of things.
Wow.
You know who I am now? Mike, stage name Neu Lab. Check me out on Facebook.
All right. Art happens sometimes, and I tell you, it's cool to watch this guy go live, isn't it? I'm going to rewind this and watch it again. We'll see you at the next show. Sometimes, art happens.
Art Happens is brought to you in part by the Spalding School of Music, Backland Photography,
Ooh, spooky.
Oh, God.
So spooky. Top 6.